Well, hi, musicians. It's so good to see you. Welcome back to my music room and to our brand new series where I teach you why am I having you learn all these brand new game songs. The one we're working on today is Draw a Bucket. Draw a bucket of water for my only daughter. And we're going to figure out what we can teach using this great game song. I showed you how to teach the game and that the game can be used for 5 minutes or maybe for 15 minutes in your lesson, depending on what you're going to be using it for. It is a great way to use up the last few minutes on a really social activity, getting students working together and having a good time. And then you can use this song to teach rhythm and melody. Let's go ahead and get started with rhythm.
Draw a bucket of water for my only daughter.
How many beats is this part? Draw a bucket of water. Would you count how many that is? Let's go ahead and count together. Draw a bucket of water. I counted 8. Well, here we go. Draw a bucket of water. Would you clap that with me? Draw a bucket of water. And let's put the syllables onto the beats. And that's when I get out all of my word cards and I go, draw a bucket. And I walk around and hand them a word card that they can put onto the beat heart. Well, here you go, Lamar. Would you put this up there? And would you put this word onto a beat heart? And they walk on over and they'll put it on there. Draw and on bucket, you'll need to show them that it is 2 sounds on the same beat. Bucket, so put these both on the same beat. And they would put that up here. Bucket of water. And here's where it starts to get interesting. This is why we're using this song. It is a preparation for a half note. Ta. So when you hand someone wa, that's the easy part because it's on this beat. This is the challenging syllable. They need to figure out where this goes. Does it go on beat 6? Does it go on beat 7? Or does it go on beat 8? So they come up, and let's say they put it on here. That's probably where they're going to put it. Draw a bucket of water. Is that right? And you can clap it. Draw a bucket of water. That doesn't sound right. Anybody have any ideas where that could be? And you have someone come on up and they move it over 1 step. Maybe someone even puts it over 2 steps. And we try it that way. Draw a bucket of water. And eventually you'll get it to here. Water. What is our voice doing here? And what is our voice doing here? You have to get them to say that they are still singing the word, that it's still going, that it stretches. I've heard kids describe this continuation of the sound in a lot of different ways. And you add something that I like to call a hold line. A hold line tells the class that they are still singing that. A hold line. I think technically it's called a melisma line on lyrics underneath a long pitch, but you don't have to worry about the word melisma. I just call it a hold line. And let's clap it. Draw a bucket of water. Clap, slide. Clap, slide. This is a preparation for half note, which is 1 sound that lasts for 2 beats. So you have to make sure that you teach them clap, slide. Draw a bucket of water. That's how you do it. In a later lesson, you could actually turn this into rhythms. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Like this. Would you clap it with me? Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, ta, ta. Obviously, this would have to be after you present half note. I like to present half note using a song, Who's That Tapping at My Window? But that's just my decision on that. If you want this to be your way to present half note, it's a great one. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, ta, ta. One of the things I like about using this setup where you have beat dots and then you have rhythms is you can have kids kids come up and move them around. So someone would move something like this, and maybe move this over to here, and they would move this back over here, and then some other kid moves this back over here. Maybe you have two children working on it, and then the class reads it. Ta, 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 ti, ti, ta. It happens to also be a really great way to show that the half note needs to fit in only certain beats. If you wanted to, you could put in bar lines, a double bar line at the end, a bar line here, and then that makes this beat in 4 meter. I use a heart until later on I teach the 4, but this is in 4 meter. Then you can show to students that it can either be on beat 1 or beat 2 or beat 3, but a half note card cannot be on beat number 4 because that goes across the bar line. Just for fun, are you ready for one more super advanced idea? Augmentation and diminution. I've actually taught this with 5th graders, or at least talked about it. Augmentation is when you take a fast rhythm and you double everything. Diminution is when you take a long rhythm and you cut everything in half, and that's diminution. If you were to take this, ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 and you were to diminish it, cut everything in half, you could either have them work it out, or you could just show to them that it's ti, ti, tika, ti, ta, ta, or even better, ti, ti, tika, ti, ta, ta, ti, ti, tika, ti, ta, ta. Obviously, if you're going to use this phrase for a quick lesson on diminution, they would have had to already learn tika-ti, tika-ti, but we've talked about songs you could use for tika-ti. Draw a bucket of water happens to be a really good song for tika-ti. All right, enough of that. Let's go ahead to melody.
Draw a bucket of water for my only
What pitches do we know? Of course we know do, and I'm going to circle it. It's very important. What is higher than do? Re, a step higher. Mi, a step higher. But wait a minute. What about below do? What do we know that's lower than do? Yes, we know low la, with a little tick shows that it's low la. For my only daughter. Let's try that with our body signs. For my only daughter. Have we learned anything down here below low la? No, not yet. Let's look at the phrase. For my only, for my only. What are those 3 pitches as a group? For my only, yeah, and someone will go, it's do, re, mi, and you can point out that for my is all on do. This is a way to chunk melodies. For my only is a very clear do, re, mi, daughter, li, da, yeah, that goes back down to do. Da, yeah, that goes down to low la. Da, is that a step down or a skip down? Da, yeah, that's a skip down. Da, hey, by the way, I want to show these. Because daughter is a melisma, daughter, I actually drew it out like this. Now, you may not agree with the choice, but that's what I did. Daughter, because da is slurred down, and so this was the only way that I could draw those notes. Daughter, otter, follow that. Otter. Does that go down by a step or down by a skip? Otter. Yeah, that's a step lower. Otter. Try that with me. For my only daughter. If that's a step lower, do we know any pitches that are lower than a low la? Yeah, we don't know. When we get there, let's just call that low. Here we go. Do, do, re, mi, do, la, lo. Try that again. That sounds funny. Do, do, re, mi, do, la, lo. But my students are used to calling notes that are lower, low, or notes that are higher, high. That's just one of the things that we've been doing in third grade. And third grade is a great time to teach low so. Let's try it on a staff. Whenever we start any staff work, that's exactly when I use a tuning fork, and it helps people know where pitches go. So I would pull out the tuning fork. That right there is a mi, re, do. Our do is on space number 1. For my only daughter. Do, do, re, mi, do, la, lo. Let's put it on the staff. There's lots of ways you could do this. You could chunk them again and have someone put 2 do's, a re, and a mi all up on the board at one time. I'm going to try that. So I would hand someone do, do, re, mi. Here you go. Go put these up on the board. And they would start over here and they would go do, do, re, mi. Oh yeah, you need to spread them out so that they're above the syllables that they go with. That's one common mistake. Do, do, re, mi, da. Yeah, that's back down to a do. Someone comes up and puts that on the do. Do, la. If that's a skip lower, would you please put that on the staff? If do is on a space, lo, la is on the space below it. Do, do, re, mi, do, la, term. La, term. Is that a step lower or a skip lower? And we'll have figured out that it's a step lower. If la is on the space below the staff, what is a step below it? And we've worked on ledger line a lot. We started ledger line back when we did do in the key of C. Back in second grade is where I teach do. So ledger line is a really big part of what we're already doing. La, lo. We don't know the name of that low pitch yet. Let's try that. Do, do, re, mi, do, la, lo. Are you ready to learn the name of the pitch? It is called, what do you think? What is your prediction? And a lot of students will have already said it's low so. And I'll put this on there, low so. There's 3 ways to write low so. You can either call it low so, or you can say so with a tick underneath to show that it's low, or just an S with a tick underneath. And that is low so. Draw a bucket is a great way to teach low so, or at least to prepare low so. Maybe at that point you would change this, you'd erase it. And then you would say, let's move it up to the second line. And everyone would have to draw them up a step. And if everything is up a step, if do is on a line, lo, la is on the line below it, and then low so is on the space, and you don't need a ledger line anymore. It's a great way to remind people you don't need a ledger line for that space at the bottom of the staff. Draw a Bucket of Water is a great song to use to teach these rhythm and melody concepts to elementary students. First of all, older kids still love to play the game. You can use up just 5 minutes or more playing the game at the end of a class time. And also third graders have a really great time not only playing the game, but learning half note and learning low so along with the song. It's a great song, and I hope you have a chance to teach it to your students in your own classroom. I'll see you next time in the music room. Bye-bye.
Draw a bucket of water for my only daughter.
There's no